Welcome back to the Run the Sheem Show, everybody. We are back for our newest edition of college preview shows. Kevin, you look beautiful today. You look like you're ready to go to a family reunion.
Thank you. Yes, I am. And that's all I'll say on that to let
And
you continue
I
your
also
intro.
look like I'm about to go hang out at the beach. Because, Kev, you know what we're going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about colleges in the great state of... That's right, folks. We're going to be talking about the three programs that are entering this season with wildly differing expectations across the board, obviously in Florida State, University of Florida, and Miami. However, Kev, before we talk football, we got some important business to talk about.
Yes,
Did you
the
stay
Taylor
up?
Swift wedding, right?
The Taylor Swift wedding. What are the odds that they actually are buying out Madison Square Garden? I don't think you can do that, but if there's any famous person that I think has the money to do it, Taylor Swift would be up there.
I was actually just talking with Carly about this. There's rumors that it's a decoy, but then they've had security guards with pamphlets saying Travis and Taylor wedding, which seems almost like a plant. It's really, I mean, it's 4chan meets pop music meets Madison Square Garden. So
yeah, can you imagine Taylor Swift like on the way to her wedding? Madison Square Garden's not in a nice like a part of town, you know what I mean? So just walking up to her wedding looking like beautiful, and there's just some guy like in the corner like
go Knicks,
go Knicks. Oh, scum of the earth. But Kev, did you stay up last night to watch the U.S. soccer game?
I did, yeah.
Go soccer. That's what it's called. I'm going to be posting this in every European subreddit that I can find. Probably get banned for hate speech or something. But Balogun's red card. Neither you or I are big soccer fans. However, I know there's enough soccer people on the Twitter sphere that are very angry and calling BS on this, that means I can call BS.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
This whole thing's rigged against us, Kev.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's rigged against us in Cape Verde for sure, but inshallah, we will see them in the finals. I don't know if that's how the bracket works, but
I don't know either.
Actually, they might have already lost to Argentina today.
I didn't check yet. I lock in on the days when the U.S. is playing. That's my hand up. I did see that England almost lost yesterday to the Congo, but they didn't have the fan guy who stands there with like, you know, the... Have you seen that guy? I forget what his name. I think it's Papa something, but he's dressed up like a historical figure from Congo's history, and he just stands like a statue the entire game.
Yes, I have.
He was not allowed to be at the game because he did not get a visa.
Bull crap.
Yeah, that might be on us a little bit. Okay, and then also, Kev, I posted a short. Did you see NBA news yesterday?
I did, yeah. I saw that your Sixers gave up 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We got fleeced definitely on that deal. Oh, it's just so terrible. I'm so bummed that we got Jaylen Brown and we only had to give up Paul George. I'm just bummed.
Hey, man, you gave up PG.
No, look, I took a victory lap on that way too hard on social media yesterday. Celtics fans will definitely get annoyed at our channel very quickly.
Yeah, I noticed you turned the comments off on the short because I tried to get something going with our burner.
I noticed that after the fact, and I wasn't even trying to do that. That's just how it happened. So,
Yeah.
Okay, enough of a recap of things happening in sports, Kev. We're going to start with the team that probably has the lowest expectations going into this season out of the three, and that is going to be our friends down there in Tallahassee at the Florida State University Seminoles. Kev, last season, these guys were abysmal. They started off hot with that win that nobody saw coming when they beat out Alabama, and everybody was so quick, you and me included, to jump on the, oh my God, Florida State University, they're going to be hyped this year. That Castellanos kid backed up his trash talk. Wrong. They can't and ended the season 2-6 in the ACC, 5-7 overall, 13th ranked in the ACC. Looking at some of their most embarrassing losses, you got Stanford on there. You got who else am I looking at? No,
UVA.
that's the most embarrassing loss. They did have a victory against a team that's going to have the most epic comeback of the century this season in Virginia Tech, but that's for another day. So Mike Norvell, why are we continuing to beat this dead horse, and why was he not taken, or why was he not fired
I have
last season, Kevin?
54 million reasons why.
I did not know the budget structure was that.
$54 million buyout is what would be. That's essentially, I think, why James Franklin came to Virginia Tech. I feel like he may have preferred the Tallahassee job, but yeah, they would have to cough up 54 million, which they really don't have. One of my notes is that they just in the 2027 recruiting phase, they're coming up with some shortfalls in these NIL deals, and they're missing out on recruits. I think they're currently set like 57th in the 2027 recruiting rankings.
In terms of rankings for like the players, and that's one of the notes that I also have down here. They're ranked actual in terms of like overall signees, because they have 32. They're ranked 14th, but when it comes ranked 14th in terms of just quantity, I think that's what we got to look at, because then I go back and also take a look at, well, wait, what's their blue chip percentage? 35.4. So maybe that's where the differentiating factor is between the two stats we're looking at, ranking in terms of like actual quality versus quantity.
Yeah, well, I think so for 2026, their class was actually pretty impressive. It was a top 20 class, and
maybe
one
that's
thing I
what I'm
noted,
thinking of then. Maybe that's what I'm mixing it up
yeah,
with.
one thing I noted in my research was their director of recruiting, I believe it was Molly Jacoby. She just left for Oklahoma. So, not that it's all the director of recruiters, wins and losses, but that 18th ranked class was when she was still here. Now she's moved on to OU, and their 2027 class, the next one under this new recruiting director, is sitting 15th in the ACC, 57th nationally.
Oh, that's bad. Okay, so maybe that's the woes of the 2025 season coming to catch up with them a little bit. Speaking of Oklahoma, man, did you see how John Mateer looks right now?
Yeah, you think you might have gotten on something.
I don't know. If he didn't, I need to know what that boy's diet is. God Lord. Okay, but back to what we were talking about. Castellanos. I'm gonna just say he timed out. You know what I mean? Enough chances, and I don't know. Maybe you can fact check me while I'm talking if he landed anywhere in the NFL. I don't think he did. I think he's maybe on a practice squad or something. But they also did lose their backup QB in Brock Glenn, who transferred to Western Kentucky out of all places. Their top running back, Gavin Sawchuk, he went and left to Northwestern. I hope he has a terrible time there, only because the new offensive coordinator is the worst person in all of football, and Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly, not Brian Kelly. That's a close second. Chip Kelly, yeah.
Chip Kelly and Brian. Maybe there's a thing with coaches with the last name Kelly that are just awful people. Yeah. Okay. And so some of their retentions, the biggest retention is obviously, you know it and I know it, Deuce Robinson. Biggest producer as a receiver last year. He's going to remain the biggest producer for Ashton Daniels, who's coming over from Auburn by way of Georgia Tech. Or wait, no. Just Auburn.
Right? Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. But yeah, wait, did you fact
Actually, no, that's a Florida fellow. I think that's a Florida fellow you're thinking of. Yeah. So we'll get to that later.
We will get to that. No, that's Eric Singleton Jr. You're right. But yes, Ashton Daniels, but no, he's coming from Auburn too. 1,000%. Okay, we're spending too much time talking about this. You want to hear something depressing? They had the second most transfer portal departures in the Power 4 programs on a team that didn't have a coaching change.
Dang. That's that I guess that's because they didn't have a head coaching change, but they did have an offensive coordinator departure, and I feel like that losing an OC or DC can cause that kind of exodus. But yeah, it's I do think there is a chance for Florida State to build some momentum this year with
Me
what's
too.
left of that 2025 recruiting class and then the 2026 recruiting class that was
Yes.
solid. It's kind of it's not their last stand, but like things are gonna look pretty grim, not
Yes.
this next season, but the season after from everything I've seen. So it's
I don't know if Mike Norvell can save his job with this team. But to your point about the future, I do see what they're going for. Ashton Daniels, he's coming in. He's a guy with a lot of experience. He's a powerful dual threat quarterback who's probably going to have the role of mentoring Jaden O'Neal. The one like metaphor that I just came up as I'm sitting here, they kind of got a situation like a Kirk Cousins and a Fernando Mendoza going on down there. Team like the Raiders, terrible last season. Florida State, terrible last season. They bring on the veteran who's going to get you some production, but you're banking on the future a lot in this young kid. Speaking on banking on the future, international offensive linemen, they got two big boys. Did you see this?
oh
Okay.
no,
If you didn't, that's
I
fine.
see they brought in Xavier Chaplin, who was at one point a Virginia Tech Hokie. So
No.
that's all I had
So
on the
he's
O
going to be the
line.
best player on the team, obviously.
Probably, yeah.
But no, on the offensive line, and I love this because it reminds me of Jordan Mailata. They brought in a guy from New Zealand named ncaafootball. He's a true freshman. He's going to be starting. He is 6'7", 379 pounds. And then another guy
In
who's
that
a
heat,
British fella, a British good old chap, who is Luke Francis Jr. That is 349 pounds, 6'5".
do they know how hot it gets in Tallahassee in the
They,
Panhandle?
hey, if anybody can handle it, it's a guy from New Zealand. Probably not the Brit. Um,
That's what I was thinking.
but no, and look, here's the other thing that worries me. They had a lot of good production on offense last season. When you average it out. However, that's because Gus Malzahn just whooped up on the like sleeper teams. They had 775 yards against Kent State. That's like Dan Lanning levels of just hatred for the little guy. You know what I mean? So to your point, can Harris continue that train with just kind of a hodgepodge and losing the players that you have had most of your production come from? I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look into what Harris's resume is. I know that Mike Norvell, his morale has got to be in the sink right now. Like
Yeah,
they're
and I
calling for
mean,
his head.
looking at their schedule, it's not like they have an easy schedule this year
Nope.
to
And
maybe
that's a
bank some
good
wins.
segue, I think, because we've already spent like 8 minutes
I
talking
do.
about
I
the
have
team.
one last
Sorry,
thing.
go
One
ahead.
last little bright spot is that for this. So they brought in as a special teams coordinator Adam Shire from UNLV. He's
Oh
coached
yeah.
an all-conference kicker or punter in 20 of his 23 seasons, and he's overseen the development of 4 top 10 special teams efficiency units in the last 13 years. His units have scored 9 touchdowns in the last 6 years, the 4th highest total among special teams coordinators nationally.
Kev, that's like
Well, Beamer ball,
what
maybe.
some dude in his basement who has a burner account is tweeting. Like that's what you just did. That was beautiful. Okay. Do you have their schedule pulled up?
Yeah.
Oh, this is brutal. Okay. Do you want to go first pick, second pick? Which one do you want?
I'll go first pick.
Okay.
All right. So opening the season Saturday, August 29th at home, New Mexico State.
Yep.
I think they get it done.
It's you got to set the tempo. With this schedule, if they want to have any hope, they got to beat up on teams like that.
Yeah.
Next, they got SMU coming into town for a Monday night game, September 7th.
Labor Day, I believe. Yeah.
They're 1-1. SMU's taking them out.
Well, things do not get better. They do have a bye week after that SMU game. So they have a whole extra week to prepare, and they're going to need it because they travel into Tuscaloosa, a team that just hated how that game last year went. I bet the one dude, the fan in the crowd with the finger.
Yes.
I'll save us the editing in post there, but yeah, I think Alabama ends up. Man, I think they jump out to a 2-score lead, and I think they end up winning by about 20.
Yeah, and then, they bring Castellanos back in, like, ropes and stuff and just slap him after the game or something. Game 4, a crazy early bye week, by the way, crazy early.
Yeah.
Okay, game 4, Central Arkansas is coming to town again. They're gonna have to keep this thing going of beating up on little teams. We're going 2 and 2.
Yep, and Florida State does get upset. So,
They do.
I think all Florida State fans, those New Mexico State and Central Arkansas games, they'll be nervously happy to get a win there. So now
We
we
are
go,
familiar with that feeling, Kevin.
yeah, not anymore. James Franklin,
Not anymore, not anymore.
So
No,
now,
national
game
champions.
5. Speaking of redemption arcs, they got UVA coming
Mm,
into Tallahassee. I bet this is the one game that every Florida State fan feels they really need to, because that's their season
yes.
collapsed after that OT loss to UVA. I think they get it done. I do think they're able to beat UVA. I know UVA's got. Can't believe I'm blanking on who's the Missouri transfer's name.
Oh, Bo Prabula, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to be able to handle it. I think they're going to be able to handle business. I think the crowd's going to Florida State, for all their shortfalls as of late, they're kind of similar to the Hokies in that their crowd still shows up. They still make
Yes.
noise in Doak Campbell. Yeah.
How how easy is it to storm the field at Doak Campbell? Is it kinda like UVA or no?
It's definitely no place is as easy as UVA. And just in my head, I feel like they got tall walls between
Okay.
but
That it says
that might be a
TBD for the time right now. I'm willing to bet money that'll end up being a night game, just
yeah.
because of that. Okay. So Louisville, um I'm going to give them the spot with this. I don't think Louisville has the moxie. So you said Virginia can get it done, so that has them at 3 and 2. You know what? I'll give them Louisville as well, 4 and 2.
Wow, okay, and that would be good because they kept Deuce Robinson, but I believe
Yes.
their second or third, leading receiver, Lawayne McCoy, transferred to Louisville, so,
Ah, okay. Well, that's
I
good for
think this
Louisville.
if Florida State phrases this in their own heads as as redemption and what's the word? Yeah, we'll just say redemption. Well, revenge, a revenge
Uh,
tour. There's some wins, UVA, Louisville, they could pick it up. So yeah, okay. Now we go. They got another bye week. So
mm,
after the Louisville game, if they're rolling 4 and 2, I think that's a pretty content Florida State team, and they're running into a buzzsaw on the road at Miami. I mean, that game last year, I believe the final score was 22-28, but that does not tell the story
it
of
didn't.
that
No,
game. It was a too little too late comeback for Florida State, but Miami was full in control, and I think they're gonna get it done again.
Miami's a
We'll
juggernaut,
get to
man. I
Miami
can't wait to
later,
talk
but
about them. So you're
impressive
4 and
team.
3 now.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about this on my walk earlier, sweating profusely because, we're in the middle of
108.
1,000-degree weather. But I was like thinking to myself, who is maybe going to be somebody that FSU might call up once the Mike Norvell situation comes down? And this next game points to a potential person here when they're playing Clemson.
DeBow.
Debo. Yeah, no, look, I think a Dabo Sweeney to Florida State makes a lot of sense. I don't know why, but I think it's the ACC, the region. He's familiar with the recruiting. They like to do things a little bit old school down there, and they got to change up the system. And Dabo's going to have to recount and reflect before he moves on to somewhere else. But these are both two coaches. All of this is a winded way of saying these are two coaches that it seems like they're poised to go somewhere else in the near future. So, that being said, I'm going to go with my gut and say Clemson gets it done
I'm gonna
at
go one
Doak.
further. I think that game's gonna be a phenomenal watch. I feel like Clemson
Mm.
and Florida State, they've put together some barn burners. So all right, so that
That's an
puts
over
some.
game. That's an over game right there.
Yeah. So let's see. That brings us to, you think Clemson's gonna get it done, you said?
Yes, so we're at 4 and 4 right now.
4-4, okay.
Yes.
And fortunately, traveling to Boston College, home, original home of Tommy Castellanos, I think they're gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Boston College is they're craving the days of Matt Ryan. But yeah, I think 5-4.
Well,
after the Boston College win.
you don't got any hope in Mason McKenzie from Montana State?
Nope, because I didn't know
Okay,
that. I have not done as much research as you.
that's fine. All right, Pittsburgh. I got faith in Pittsburgh being like a spoiler this year. I really do.
Really?
So it's just something about them, man. I'm a sucker for it, I guess. But I'm gonna go 5-5. Pittsburgh also gets it done. I'm being mean. I'm being mean to them right now.
All right, NC State, and I believe this was in their game or last year when they played NC State on the road, second to last game of the season. They lost 11-21. So
Mm.
let's get that redemption, the revenge tour in mind. I think they get it done at home
Yeah.
against NC State. I maybe I'm overhyping the home field advantage that it's Doak Campbell, right? At
Yes.
least that's what it's called in the NCAA 2005 video game that I play. So
Hmm.
give me bowl eligibility with a win against NC State, 6-5. Keeping that revenge tour in mind, here comes the last game of the season. What you got?
Yeah, and I'm going to give that win right back. Because look, Florida is a bit of a question mark, and we're going to be talking about them in a couple of seconds here. But I like the roster that they put together, and a good segue is I like the new offensive coordinator down there in Florida. I think they have a more put together team. I could see that all else staying the same. I'm going to go with a spread of 6.5 in favor of Florida for that one.
Okay, I bet the spread's more like 4.5 just because it's a home game. But
That's true. That is true.
um, I don't mind that 6-6.
I could see it happening.
Yeah, I think if there's one team that has a spread of their, what their total wins could be, I think it's Florida State, because like we
Yes.
said, they could drop New Mexico State, Central Arkansas, drop one of those. They could drop a number of those ACC games. This could be another 3-4 win season, or they steal a couple. They got that home field advantage against Florida, Clemson, UVA. Like maybe they end up with 7-8 wins. I think it's
Yep.
a big spread, but I like how we kind of ended up right in the
I,
middle,
I,
six
I
and
like
six.
how we got it there.
Yeah.
All right. I just alluded to it. Now we're going to go from the panhandle and we're going to journey on down to the swamp down there in Gainesville. We're talking about the University of Florida Gator. Don't forget it. Gator.
These
All
teeth are
right.
sharp.
Kev, let me first start with this. Everybody's talking about John Sumrall as the big coaching story here. I want to also shift our attention to another coaching hire that they made an offensive coordinator that I'm just as excited about for these Florida Gators. And that's Mr. Buster Faulkner coming down from Georgia Tech. That was me handing off to you to say something.
Well, I mean, I hate to counter your point, but I'm more
Okay.
excited about their defensive coordinator, Brad White.
Okay.
7 years DC for Kentucky, and he always had a scrappy bunch with the Wildcats there. And I think this boost in talent, just the overall talent of his defense, is going to be it's going to I don't think he's going to reinvent his defensive schemes. I think now he's just going to have the same decent scheme with much better players.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of evident in how many of their defensive players they were able to retain after the coaching change, head coach, defense coordinator. Usually you don't see, I believe at least half of their starters are back. And that's crazy.
Yes.
I think it's kind of, we're meeting here agreeing that we're a little hype on Florida right now.
I kind of am. And I will say right now, they still have it listed as it's a QB battle between Aaron Philo, who's coming with Buster Faulkner from Georgia Tech. He's currently not listed as the starter. Tramel Jones, who's the backup from last season, is listed as the starter. That being said, I don't see a world where they're bringing in Buster Faulkner and also bringing in the guys like Micah Mays Jr., Luke Harping, and Eric Singleton Jr., who are all familiar with that scheme, and not putting a thrower who's familiar with his play style also there. Aaron Philo only played for that one game last year with Georgia Tech, but it was okay. Well, putting it into perspective, it was against Gardner-Webb, but first ever start, 373 yards, 75% completion percentage. pretty good numbers. It got him ACC Rookie of the Week commendation. So now you got to step up and play almost that way every single time you step onto the field because you're in the SEC play. You know what I mean? You're not going up against Gardner Webb anymore, and they got a schedule to deal with. My Lord, this is a gauntlet over here. Yeah. This is a gauntlet. And wait, what else did I have? Eric Singleton Jr. I really liked watching him last year, Kevin. I really did. He's going to be, this is his final year of eligibility, if I'm not mistaken. He was at Auburn last year, but before that, he was by way of Georgia Tech. So he's known for being able to line up in the slot and out wide and being a proven threat on vertical routes, not necessarily due to his size, because he's only 5'10" and 182 pounds, but he's really elusive. You know what I mean? He's able to like shoot guys out. But he can also extend plays because he's got that nice low center of gravity. I think that's really going to work well. Continue building that like tough, gritty style of play that Buster Faulkner is known for having. Defensive side of the ball. It's already been pretty much known that John Summerall is going to let Faulkner do what he wants on the offense. And because John Summerall has that background of a linebacker guy from Kentucky, I wonder if that had anything to do with the Kentucky, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know if that's another story we could look into. Maybe we should. That being said, they do have, what's his name? I wrote it down here somewhere. Well, wait, no, that's for Florida State. Aaron Giles. There it is. There's the linebacker who's going to be the junior, who's going to be the kind of de facto leader in that locker room. I think we're going to see him come alive a lot more under John Summerall, who runs that power 4-3 defense. He's going to be blitzing a lot, putting a lot of pressure on these guys. And he's going to need to, because looking at this schedule, they got guys like Gunnar Stockton, Arch Manning, John Mateer to go against. That's going to be a tough battle. John Summerall is going to have to just consistently be putting pressure on these guys in order for it to be competitive at all. That's beat them at their own game. What else do you have?
I really agree with everything you said there, and I did the research for you. Aaron Childs, no relation to Jordan Childs, but so he had 22 solo tackles last year. Yes. Miles Graham had 36, the other linebacker in that duo, and he's coming back as well. I believe another big one with Jaden Woods. He's an edge rusher. He entered the transfer portal, but ended up withdrawing his intent to leave, and he's back. I think an $800,000 NIL deal might have helped sweeten that pot. But again, just speaks to, I think Summerall's getting buy-in across the board. I have one question for you on because I haven't watched much of Aaron Philo.
Okay.
But
well, I mean, there's only one game.
The one game. Is he much of a runner like Haynes King, or
no? He was definitely a pocket presence. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know, because you remember that Georgia game last year. You know, Georgia Tech was close, so they were in it, but it was more so because of their defense. You know, I kind of feel like these SEC defenses, if you're going to have a quarterback who's trying to be gritty and run every time, it's going to go south quick. So that's good to know that he might be more of an established pocket passer. I like that.
Now, Kev, we kind of both said about our hopes. There's one thing that I noticed that seems, maybe I'm thinking into it too deeply, and I want you to tell me if I am. Out of the transfers that they brought in, okay, for this team, the number of transfers, there's 36, 4 from Baylor and 4 from Georgia Tech are the most number they have. The only players that came from Tulane were a
kicker and
punter and a punter. I don't know if that was by design, but in my head, every other coach who made this leap has brought a lot of guys with him. Golish, Chesney. So is there a morale thing of some kind, or is it it's a question mark? That's what I'm going at.
No, that's a fair point. And I kind of came across the same question if I had more time to do more research. One thing I wanted to look in was the recruits that they brought in. Were there a lot that were flipped there? Because that's not as easy of a trail to follow as the transfer portal. But
no.
yeah. Shoot, we haven't talked about Jaden Baugh,
Oh, Jaden
the
Ball. Yeah,
running
how can we
back.
forget
Yeah,
about that?
Texas
Yeah.
tried to throw a bag at him to get him to transfer, but I mean,
Yes.
I think that might be one of the biggest examples of these players kinda
Yes.
buying in because
He
he's a
was the
1,000-plus-yard
leading
rusher. Yeah.
rusher in every game theirs last season. No shocker there. And he was even the leading receiver in their loss to Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, he was one of the 6, leading receivers of the season, yeah, that
Kev, there's
yeah.
a I'm looking at this. There's a chance, and I got to look at like what their eligibilities are to see if this plays out how I'm thinking it will. There's a chance that the first 3 wide receivers taken in the draft all come from the state of Florida. Well, wait, not Jeremiah Smith. Okay,
Yeah, I was gonna
3 of the
say
top 5.
yeah, I was gonna say you pretty much always have to default to having an Ohio State boy in
Right, yeah.
there.
I forgot about Jeremiah Smith for a second. But okay, let's do you have any other points? I think I'm good.
No, yeah, I
Let's get
think we
into
get
it.
to our
Okay,
picks.
I'll lead off this time since you took it. Okay, starting with a group of 5 team or group of 6 now because the Pac-12 is back officially. Is my camera lagging or is that just me?
It's lagging a little, but it does that on my end. It
Or wait,
once we
I think I'm good now. I think I'm good.
yeah.
Okay. Against Florida Atlantic, yeah, I think they're going to start off hot, really showcasing what they've been developing this past season and how they're merging all these schemes together. So yeah, give me the dub 1-0.
Yeah, I think a pretty easy pick here. They'll run over the Camels, 5:30 PM Saturday, September 12th. I think they're going 2-0.
Okay. I'm definitely going to watch this next one because it tells a story of like 2 coaches that evolved from the same rivalry they had the previous season, and Mr. Golesh and Mr. Sumrall. Hmm. It's at Auburn. It's a night game.
And you know the storylines are gonna be there because of what you just noted.
Yes.
It's,
Golesh is going to come out hot. This is a tough one. You know what? I am going to put my faith in the Georgia Tech offensive scheme that is now at Florida because you know that I liked them last season. Upset. I think Auburn will be favored in this. Actually, I don't know. This is a pick 'em as of right now,
I think I think so. I'm
but
just
I'm going to
looking
give it to
Auburn
Florida
opens
2 and
their
1.
season against Baylor, so that's kinda nice for
Yes.
we're not gonna learn much against Florida Atlantic and Campbell for
No.
Florida, but Auburn, Baylor, that's gonna be a big one.
Okay. I'm going to give it to Florida 2 and 1.
You're giving it to Florida, that's
Yes.
3-0.
Yes.
3-0. Alright.
Wait. Oh, 3-0. My bad.
Yeah. Then we got Ole Miss at home. Man, they're just running the gauntlet of new
They
coaches,
really
but
oh my god, dude, this schedule.
man, I
Welcome to
know
the
we kind of
SEC,
almost always
Summerall.
give a bias to the people we're picking, but I think they're gonna get it done against Ole Miss. A little revenge game there as well. They lost, I
Yes.
think, 20-10 last year. Oh no, that was LSU. Anyway, yeah, give me Florida 4-0, probably a nice fat top
Mhm.
15, 18 ranking at this point. 4-0.
They're gonna have to front load this schedule, Kev, with
Yeah,
what the back end's gonna be, and for that reason and that reason alone, I'm gonna give it to them again against Missouri when they're going into Columbia. Give it to them, so 5-0. Yeah.
5-0. Well,
We have to remember these for when we do previews for these other teams, because we're gonna
yeah,
contradict the crap out of
I
ourselves.
know. We're gonna try to stay truthful, but I got South Carolina coming into Gainesville and getting that win.
Okay, so now we're 5-1,
I think
and,
we could see them looking ahead and getting burned.
yeah, I understand that logic. Okay, and,
Revenge game here.
now we're going into the true gauntlet of gauntlets.
Yeah.
Texas, look, man, I saw Arch footage the other day. I think he's going to explode this season. I think this season Arch is going to be what everybody thought last season Arch was going to be. Um, Also a guy who looks jacked out of his mind right now. Yeah, I don't know if the QBs are juicing or what, but it's 5-2. Texas takes it. They got
5-2.
to get okay. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, now we get to the Georgia game. That game's always neutral turf in
Yes.
Jacksonville. So, Florida plays that one closer than the line. Last year, I think they lost by 4, 20-24. I do think Georgia's going to get it done, though.
Yeah.
It's a tough. That's why that South Carolina loss, in my opinion, is going to be real rough for them because,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's like, I wanted to think that we could find a sleeper pick for them in these 3 games because of what I'm about to say. John Mateer, sleepy Heisman bet I might put, to be honest with you. I
really,
think he's got a definite chip on his shoulder after not being able to finish out what was at one point a Heisman contending, season. So yeah. What were they at with the loss to Georgia? 5-4?
they were 5-3, so
5-3.
now
Well, now
five
they're
and
five and
four.
four,
You know,
unfortunately.
I'm gonna say I feel like that game might be close. Might be that if there's one that could go the other way, I think it might be that one. But now we get to move on from that hellscape of a 3-week span.
Right, right.
They at least have a bye week between Texas and Georgia. But now we are moving Saturday, November 14th, at Kentucky. You already know what it is. They're going to have, they got their number, they got their DC. I think they achieved bowl eligibility, 6-4,
Okay. 6-3, you said?
six and
6-3,
four
six
now.
and four. We're at, yeah.
Yeah,
Did Kentucky go after Summerall at all? I
I'm
can't
not
remember.
sure. I mean, it's
I
got to
don't
be
know.
hard competing against Florida. They
Kentucky's
do have
also
their
one of
money
those
in
teams
line.
that's very Kentucky's like us and Cal, I think, right now, where it's like they're very hopeful about what the season is going to bring with Will Stein leading the charge now. And that kid, CJ, or no, not CJ Carr, that kid who was his backup. Crap. How am I forgetting? Whatever. Um, on to Vanderbilt. You know what? I think Vanderbilt's going to have a comeback down this year, unfortunately.
I was
I
gonna
do.
say you love Vanderbilt, dude.
I liked I, I liked Diego Pavia as a storyline. He was entertaining. But yeah, I think they're going to come back down to earth. 7-4. Florida gets it done at home against Vanderbilt. Probably be a night game, or no, it'll probably be a late afternoon game.
Well, their season ends on the road at Florida State, a game that we just picked. So we do
Yep,
have to stay consistent here.
we do.
That means Florida is going to start the season 5-0, lose 4 in a row, but then win their last 3 to finish 8-4.
Yes, yes.
Very impressive, and I believe that
I
would
think it's
be
doable. I mean, look, we were very generous. I think, Missouri lost, Texas lost, Georgia lost, Oklahoma lost. Those are all possible. But looking at what we said, Ole Miss could be a flip. South Carolina could be a flip. You never know. We don't know what Kentucky's going to look like. I'd say
Missouri. Yeah,
margin of error with this is probably like 3 games in either direction. No, not
yeah.
either
Well, no,
direction.
I was going to say I don't see
No,
them
not
getting any
not
more
not the
than
other
8
direction,
wins, but
in
yeah.
a bad direction only. Maybe they get one of those in the Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma gauntlet, but they would have to play spoiler big time. All right. Now let's talk about a team that I don't know what else they need to do. And we're going to go down to the southern tip of this country in the convict school of University of Miami. Kev, why don't you lead off?
All right. So we're doing off-season overviews here. One thing that Mario Cristobal has said, and I'm going to open with this, he said that this has been the most difficult off-season of his entire coaching career, and it does make sense. They were so close to pulling it off. I mean,
Yes.
an interception, tough way to go out.
Yep.
That being said, they've kind of already reloaded their roster. They've,
Yes.
and just as kind of to hedge my excitement here, Miami always at this time in the year is talking about how great of players that. Miami always has extremely talented recruits, transfers coming in. Last year was the first season that it actually materialized.
Yeah.
Um, whether last year was a fluke or Mario Cristobal's truly got it down now. They they have high expectations for this year.
Look, Kev, I think you and I could both honestly say that the thing that was holding them back, because you look at the pieces of the puzzle of their roster, elite across the board. The draft shows that. When you look at it, wasn't the power players that, well, they did. I don't think they had any power players that were actually in the draft, but their support players went like crazy. You had Francis Mauigoa went to the Giants, Akeem Mesidor went to the Chargers, Markel Bell went to the best team in the league. He's going to have a great time up there in the great city of Philadelphia. And then Ruben Bain Jr., who went first round to the Bucks. They had a challenge there to really shore up the line on both sides. That's the only piece that they lost. And you know what I'm really excited to see? Jackson Cantwell, who's coming in as a true freshman, who is he's a big boy. I think he also breaks the
Oh yeah, he
325
was the
pound.
number one overall recruit.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
they're very high on him. And they're also, I've been listening to the University of Miami Locked On podcast. They're pretty certain that they're going to get that kid Eli Woodard, who's between them and UCLA right now, I think. I don't know if it's been officialized yet, but yes, they're on a recruiting trailblazing right now. And why wouldn't they be after last season? That being said, Jackson Cantwell, that freshman, his parents were 2 Olympic shot putters, both of them. So that guy's got some size in his genes. I'm very excited to watch him. Replacing the guys on the other side of the ball, especially Ruben Bain Jr., they went out and got Damon Wilson, the highly touted transfer from Missouri, to kind of shore up that line. So they brought pieces back. They might not be as exceptional on the line as they were last season, but that was catching gold in a box. Or lightning in a box. Gold in a box. That was... Shut up. No, but Kev, we haven't talked about the transfer that is really exciting, because last season they had a quarterback play that was not worthy of what the talent was that was around him, in my opinion. Any quarterback could have gotten in there with that team, in my mind. Maybe not any,
Not any,
okay.
but
Any veteran QB with IQ could have done that. And that's what Carson Beck was. So what do they do to replace him? They bring in the guy who was the ACC champion. Yeah. Darian Mensah, who had the number 2 most passing yards as a freshman last year. Now,
not only that, they brought in his teammate, Cooper Barkat, as well. Yeah.
I think it's Barcade. Is it Barkat?
Barcade,
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's going to be awesome to watch. I think that guy with a lot of weapons to throw to is going to be awesome. See, Malachi Toney had an explosive freshman year. He's had a whole summer to game plan now, and he has confidence built up. He's going to be a storm this season, man.
Mark Fletcher Jr. as well is coming back. It's so unfair how many people are coming back.
I was looking at it, and I was like, and you see a roster with that many weapons, and you think to yourself, oh, some of these guys had to go elsewhere, right? No, all still there. And now I'm looking at, I don't know if you have any more points, but I'm looking at this schedule. Like, they can write a check, man. They can write their own destiny right now. So,
yeah, one thing I noted that was, so Carson Beck obviously went to the Arizona Cardinals,
yes.
but so did their running back coach, Matt Merritt, left to become the Arizona Cardinals running back coach. Their cornerback coach, not quarterback, cornerback like DBs, Zach Etheridge, also left for the Arizona Cardinals. I was looking at that, I'm like, I should have looked at when those hires were made, if they preceded the draft or were after the draft, but it's interesting. I guess if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan, maybe you're a little bit of a Cardinals fan now too.
Maybe. I mean, we've seen does Miami have fans? That's the other question we got to always consider.
Yeah. I'll be doing some boots on the ground reporting, because I will be going down to to Hard Rock Stadium for that game against the Virginia Tech Hokies. So I will let you know if they got fans.
I am still mad at them as a fan base for that pathetic showing that they had at home against Indiana in the championship.
Yeah.
That hurt me just as a fan of sports. That's all it is. But yeah, in terms of coaches, they didn't lose Corey Fettleman or Shannon Dawson at coordinator position. So even that's not going to change up that much. You know what I mean? They're still running the ships.
Literally
All
the
right.
only other they lost their tight end coach. So tight end, running back, and cornerbacks coach. That's
okay.
for a team.
So
Yeah, that's
Cristobal's got
crazy.
some work to do. I mean, look, after that season, it's inevitable that some guys are going to take bigger
Yeah,
paychecks when
it's
they're at
crazy
that.
that
You
they
know what I
didn't
mean?
lose more.
But to have kept both of your coordinators after that season,
Oh,
Miami's
yeah.
got to,
and the talent you kept.
yeah, nothing short
Not
of a
just so
miracle.
Cooper Barkate, the 1,000 receiving yards in back-to-back seasons. They also brought in the South Carolina stud, Vandrevius Jacobs, if I'm saying that right. 32 receptions, 548 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think maybe he's like a 5'11" guy. Well,
You know, I
maybe
love
what
me
they're
that.
missing is a tall boy at
They
wide
are.
receiver.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
been that big of a believer in tall receivers, to be honest with you. All right, without further ado, let's get into this is a cakewalk. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I
I'll
got
actually
first pick
start.
this time.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got first pick.
All right, at Stanford. Stanford's trying. They're trying to rebuild something, but this is a real mean thing that the scheduling committee did because, yeah, Miami's going 1-0. I see this not being particularly close.
I just love that start. Stanford's trying, man. Like, they're doing their best out here. Yeah, next we go to Florida A&M. Obviously that's a tune-up game at home for them, 2-0.
Yeah. Now, next week, and looking at their schedule, it is kind of crazy because if you remember last year, their first win outside of the state of Florida was against Virginia Tech. They ended the season with 3 straight road games. They're loading these conference road games
Yes.
up at the beginning. So Friday, September 18th, traveling to Wake Forest. Again, I think they're going to be strong enough, and I see that being a 2-score or more win, 3-0.
I will say this. I don't know if we'll be able to touch base on Wake Forest with these videos, but I do hope that Gio Lopez gets some semblance of success after what he went through at UNC. That's all I can say. Central Michigan, again, it's 4-0. Yeah.
Tune-up game. Now, this Clemson, so now we are on Saturday, October 3rd. Clemson at Clemson. This is not as, we were talking about how Florida State could easily beat Clemson. Looking at their schedule, they start the season off against LSU again. This is going to be such a hard game to predict right now because we don't know if Clemson, but I'm going to say they do get the win over Clemson. This might be the one.
Knowing what we know now, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. We talked about Florida State. Okay, so what? We're already bowl eligible, right? Yep, we're already bowl eligible.
Perfect start to the season.
Yes.
They got Pitt at home. Yeah, I was a believer in Pittsburgh last year getting it done against Miami in Pitt, but that didn't happen. Miami ran away with it.
They did. I remember we both picked Pitt to cover for that game, didn't we?
And it was not. There were some close moments, but it was just one of those times where talent prevails,
Yes.
like just the difference between 4 and 5-star recruits versus 3 and 4 stars. And I think they get it done again this year. So 7-0 heading into Halloween weekend.
Okay. I'm
Deal,
going to obviously
check.
I'm going to obviously say 8-0. What I was thinking was I could see myself taking North Carolina to cover because there's no chance that Vegas doesn't put that at like 17.5 or something high.
True.
Okay. Here we go. All right. I think we also got to tease something when you talk through this, Kev.
Yes, I will. I will be making the pick, but I'm going to kick it over to you for a little.
Yeah, so this game is arguably the most anticipated game of the college football season that's coming up after what happened last season. That's the Catholics versus the convicts. Now, Kev, Notre Dame is a religious school. I think that we haven't spent enough time talking about them religious schools. What do you think?
I think you're right.
Now, I think we need to. Folks, next week, we're going to be talking about the 3 schools that have all the religion in the world, and that is Notre Dame, obviously, for their Irish Catholics, BYU, because of their Mormonism, and then Texas A&M, because let's be honest, it's a cult down there. They pray to the altar of Kyle Field down there at College Station.
I was trying to remember who the third one we picked to do that was. I was blanking on it. So, all right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe before that, we'll find an actual religious school that we can think of. But the only other one that comes to mind is Liberty, and we're not going to do a preview on Liberty. But talk about the game.
Kicking it to me. So this is going to be in South Bend. Notre Dame lost to Miami 27-24 at the beginning of last season.
Yep.
I see Notre Dame getting this win at home. I see them getting it done.
Yeah.
This is right around the time in the season. Well, actually, I feel like October is when Miami will slip up, last year against SMU and all those turnovers. But yeah, I got them losing this one.
Yeah.
So that makes them 8-1.
Again, this is I'm trying to use the gambling brain because everything in your mind says, yes, it flip-flops back. Notre Dame comes out, guns up blazing, unloading the clip. Notre Dame is still on my poo-poo list, along with Texas Tech, after what they did with the bowl game crap, whining like a bunch of schoolgirls. But I agree. No, they're probably going to get the win. Right now, that's what I'm saying. When we talk about that game, because we're probably going to spend 30 minutes talking about this one when it comes up.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now they get it done. And then, against Duke, I haven't done any research into Duke. I don't know if their situation has improved at all, losing their arguably the 2 players who were the most responsible for getting them success last season are now gone to Miami. So there's going to be that storyline there. It's going to be at home in Hard Rock. I can't. You know what? Does Miami have a spoiler in them like they had with Louisville?
Well, I mean, we already made our pick for the game that follows this, so we can't change it now, but continue.
Well, no, you already made the pick. I wanted you to make the other pick for that game. No, but so you know what? No. Spoiler game. Never mind. I can't do it. They get it done.
Yeah.
You saw my brain churning so much there.
So that sets them at 9-1. Saturday, November 21st, weekend before Thanksgiving. The Hokies
Boots on the ground.
And Kevin and his in-laws are all going to be in Hard Rock, and we're going to be watching a master class from James Franklin, kind of a really nice cap off to what I guess we determined would be like an 11-1 season for
this will be our
Hokies.
first loss. Yep.
Yeah. So that's going to be a crazy game. That's going to be like number 5 versus number 2 ranked teams. Because the Hokies would still be undefeated at that point.
Of course.
I believe.
I can't wait to see the videos where you're just annoying the crap out of Carly, telling her to take a video of you, and she's just getting pissed off. And then we go into Thanksgiving week against Boston College. They finished the season with only 1 loss to Notre Dame, and I think
they've lost to the Hokies, brother.
Wait, no, hold on, Kev.
You
said
we
got to stay
losing
consistent
to the Hokies. Remember the one we lost? We had Virginia Tech losing to SMU. We had them beating Miami.
No, you're wrong. It was the other way around. Go back and check the video.
Has it been uploaded yet?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you keep talking about how great that Boston College game is going to be. I'm just going to pull that thing up.
Okay, look, I've done a little bit of research into Boston College. They don't got anything that's going to be jumping off the page at you. Obviously, they got a FCS guy who's coming in to lead the charge there. The only thing that they have to boast about is how they have a top 10 ranked tight end in Matthew Chudzinski, or maybe it's top 15. I'm not sure. Compared to a Miami team who's going to be absolutely just on a tear right now. There's no way that they can get it done. So yeah, Miami is going to be going 11-1, but they're only lost to Notre Dame. Kevin, I will stitch it in this video if I have to, because there's no
I
way you
think
were
you're
right.
I think
Kev,
we did.
Yes, because you know why? You were trying to say SMU would get it done. Then I convinced you otherwise when I gave you that tidbit about how Gerald Ford Stadium can only hold 35,000 people.
Okay, fine. So that means, what did they do?
And then you walked back on it and you said that we're actually going to lose to them.
Well, now I'm walking back on it. We're actually going to beat Miami, but we're going to lose to SMU. So once the SMU game rolls around and the Hokies lose that one,
you can't do this revisionist crap.
When the Hokies lose to SMU, then go ahead and place your bet on them to beat Miami, because that is foretold.
Okay, so we're going 10-2.
Well, I guess we're going 11-1 by the rules,
Okay.
And then losing in the ACC championship game to the Hokies.
True. Okay. But yeah, I mean, talking about this Miami team, stay cautiously excited as all hell if you're one of the 20 Miami fans. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Future's looking bright for them too. Currently have the number 4 ranked 2027 recruiting class with they got that 6'4" QB Israel Abrams coming in.
Yeah.
So yeah, the future looks bright for them.
Do you think you're more excited to see how Darian Mensah performs on the new scheme, or to see Malachi Tony just go off?
I'm more curious about Mensah.
Curious about Mensah, excited about Tony. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
All right, Kev, we did Florida. We're gonna have to really think about what get-ups we do for the religious episode. And with that, I will wipe away the sunscreen. But if you watched all this wave, thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. So happy to keep on making these videos, and we will come back to you next with Notre Dame, BYU, and Texas A&M.
And McGregor Holloway.
Wait, oh yeah, let's tease that. When's that happening again?
Next weekend.
All right, we're busy next week. Crap. Or wait a minute. Kev, we might have to do some live episodes on the water.
Yeah.
I think, because Kev and I are going to be going to the Ozarks next week for a bachelor party. Shout out our boy Andrew. Getting hitched. All right. Remember to like and subscribe, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste.